Okay. By now, you have definitely seen the quotes. You have probably been made aware of the article. This is the piece we are diving into today on this video. It is the latest from Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic yesterday, September 9th, talking about Pittsburgh Penguins captain Sidney Crosby speaking out on his Pittsburgh future, Montreal Canadiens speculation, and more. That's the hard part about losing, the article's title says. And here's the thing. It's The Athletic. It's behind a paywall. Of course, we're not going to be able to look at the piece and provide all the content from this page itself. I don't feel comfortable doing that. So instead, we're going to go over onto the Pittsburgh Penguins subreddit, as well as the Montreal Canadiens subreddit, because a bunch of the article and the quotes were posted on here, and it gives us the buy to actually read it without technically infringing on the paywall. So, Pierre LeBrun's latest piece dives into all of this, and we finally get ourselves some word from Sidney Crosby himself as to what a Crosby-Montreal reunion could look like. I say reunion just because technically, his dad was a Montreal Canadien, so there was at least a Crosby that was in the Canadiens organization at some point. But let's dive into this article here, because Pierre LeBrun gives the scoop from, firstly, Pat Brisson of CAA Sports. Well, it's a reality, Pat Brisson told The Athletic on Monday night regarding the buzz generated by Pittsburgh's lack of success. First of all, Sid has been so consistent for 20 years. He had another great year last season. He just keeps going. The comparison is Tom Brady. We want Sidney to hopefully be in the playoffs every year. We want him to hopefully win another cup or two. So each year the team that he's playing for fails to make the playoffs, it creates a lot of speculation. In reality, Sid's not getting any younger. We are here to support him. It's the beginning of the season here. Let's see how things are going. Hopefully the Penguins have a great season, and the speculation will go away. Okay. Yeah, Tom Brady comparisons. Pretty good, I'd say. Two legends of the sport. Two guys who just do not seem to get any worse as they get older. But it's kind of telling here that the agent says they want Crosby to win another cup or two. Pierre LeBrun then asks Brisson, is it possible that Crosby will entertain a trade out of Pittsburgh one day? I mean, I'm answering something that, let's put it this way, it's always a possibility, Brisson said. It's been 3 years, they haven't made the playoffs. It all depends on how Sid is going to be and how the team is going to do. I maintain the same position that I do believe that he should be playing playoff hockey every year, in my opinion. So if you're Pat Brisson, hey, you've got it in your client's best interest to suggest that a trade could be on the table. That this guy should be playing for a team that's a lot better than Pittsburgh, especially when you consider the fact that the Penguins are still in cellar mode. By the way, more on that later. We're going to continue talking about Pittsburgh as the day goes on. Matt Larkin of Daily Faceoff asked Crosby during the player media tour availability on Monday night about his future with the Penguins in the context of the losing seasons of the past few years. And he also asked how difficult it is to deal with the speculation because of it. This is where the article gives us the scoop. I mean, I understand it, Crosby said. It's not something you want to discuss. You'd rather be talking about who we're getting at the trade deadline or, where we're at as far as are we 1 or 2 or 3 in the division. But it's one of those things. That's the hard part about losing. I think everybody thinks that the buzzer goes and you lose a game and that sucks, but there's so much more than that. It's the roster turnover. It's the unknown, the uncertainty, the question marks. That's the stuff that's tough. It makes you appreciate all those years that we were competing and going after the big acquisition every single trade deadline. I don't think I took it for granted, but I definitely appreciate it that much more now. But it doesn't change my approach. I still go out there trying to win every single game and try to be the best that I can be. I think that youth and having that energy around you isn't a bad thing either. We've got a lot of hungry guys, a lot of competition for spots, so I think you just try to find different things you can feed off of and still continue to learn through it. Sid, what an absolute leader he is. But all this positive talk about the situation and being grateful, gratitude, understanding that the team is in a different spot right now, all that aside, there were some extra comments about the Montreal Canadiens that are not included in this Reddit post. Instead, they're included on this Reddit post. It's the Our Habs subreddit. They link the same article, and then the top comment goes out there and says this: "As someone who loves to play in environments like that, I grew up a Montreal Canadiens fan. To have an ovation like that here was really special and something I'll always remember," Crosby said about the Four Nations face-off standing ovation he received in Montreal. "I grew up a Canadiens fan." In the context of growing outside the noise and speculation regarding his future with the Penguins, I asked Crosby on Monday about Montreal and whether there was any chance he was dropping any breadcrumbs with that comment about growing up a Habs fan. "I've said that a few times," Crosby replied with a smile, "but no, he was not leaving breadcrumbs. But he's aware, especially when he's back home in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, where there are plenty of Canadiens fans, that it's what the Montreal market is dreaming of these days, getting their hands on number 87 somehow, some way." "I get it," Crosby said. "Trust me, growing up a Montreal fan and being from not too far from there, I understand how passionate they are. You know, whether it's those experiences or guys that I've played with that have played there or playing there in the playoffs or Four Nations, all these different things, I get it. I remember, I think it was my first or second year in the league, and I was in Montreal for a CCM thing in like June, and they were already projecting the lines for training camp in September. I was like, this is wild. I've never heard anything like this. They're so into it. And I get why it would come up with that sort of thing too. It doesn't make it any easier when you're losing to hear those things, but at the same time, to know that a team like that wants you, it's not the end of the world. It could be worse," he smiled. "Yeah, I think that's just part of it." Ay, ay, ay. Boy, oh boy. Sidney Crosby just gave Pierre LeBrun an entire week's worth of conversation-worthy commentary about leaving Pittsburgh and being a part of the Montreal Canadiens organization, straight up addressing the Montreal fans, talking about how passionate they are, understanding where they're coming from, and acknowledging all the speculation about him going to Montreal. I mean, what? Oh my goodness, dude, this is a guy that is self-aware, and he is, in a way, just giving us something interesting to talk about. That's pretty much it, right? He says, he's not leaving breadcrumbs. He's not going out there and dropping hints like, hey, I actually do think I'm going to Montreal. I just want to let people know that in a very subliminal way. No, that doesn't seem to be the case. But he was asked about it, and he did answer it in very Crosby-like fashion. So for that, I think all of us Canadiens fans have nothing more but to just express gratitude to Sid for being open and honest about this, even though Penguins fans may not necessarily like to hear it. Sid, I swear to goodness gracious, I will buy your jersey in 0.01 microseconds after any trade that makes him a Hab, and wear it from the moment it arrives in the mail until the day I ascend to hockey nirvana. They would sell so many jerseys, it would be insanity. The store would crash within seconds of the trade being announced, and I would be there smashing the refresh button. But I was told if he leaves Pittsburgh, it's for Colorado or LA. Not his childhood team. Having Crosby in Montreal makes the Canadiens a contender. Come on, Sid. So, at the end of the day, this is all just extra stuff. There's nothing being revealed here. There's nothing being finalized. It's just Sid responding to the Habs discourse. But it's a very, very interesting conversation to have, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel? How do you react and respond to the idea of Sidney Crosby becoming a Hab, and what Crosby himself had to say about it? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.